What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so before I get into this video, I want to give a shout out to the brother Eric for showing love with a donation to the channel via the Cash App. Salute to you for showing love once again to the channel. So I come across this LeBron fan who I guess was trying to make a point about how LeBron, in his mind, has faced greater competition, I guess as he puts it, at his position than Michael Jordan did when Jordan was playing. All right. Anyway, this is his take on the GOAT debate and how he thinks that LeBron went against greater competition than Michael Jordan.
Second or third people when played in the finals. And I'm like, duh. Someone has to be in the runnings for the MVP voting. Did Jordan play against players with his abilities night in and night out? LeBron James did that. He played against a Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, James Harden on the same team. He played against a Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green on the same team. A Ginobili, Parker, Tim Duncan, Kawhi Leonard, same team. Let's not get me started on the Kobe Bryant and the T-Max and his earlier in his career. He played against those guys night in and night out and was the victor. When you sit here and we talk about, oh, he played against this guy and that guy. Yes, he definitely played against good players. Those good players wasn't better than the good players LeBron played against. And that's the point. Jordan was amazing. He was just before his time. I ran across.
So I heard that, right? So this is the problem I have when people do this. They'll say, well, Jordan didn't play against another Michael Jordan. LeBron's played against guys who have had similar skill sets to him. And the flaw in that is the game of today is vastly different, even from 25 years ago, and definitely 30 to 40 years ago. The game is different. Today's game is much more perimeter orientated, okay? It's much more perimeter orientated. It's much more guard orientated. Whereas when Michael Jordan was in his prime, you could argue the game was still more or less dominated by big men. It was transitioning to, perhaps you could say, it was becoming more guard orientated, but it was still more dominated by big men. To give you a point of reference, in 1999, 14 of the top 20 scorers, if I'm not mistaken, 14 of the top 20 scorers were either power forwards or centers. You're not going to see that today. Also because of the dominance of big men, especially as you got toward the later part of the 90s, when you had big men who were becoming more athletic and not more a lot more mobile, scoring went down, right? So, nobody scored 50 points in the 98-99 season. Only 3 players scored 50 points in the 97-98 season. So what I'm getting at is it's a lot more easier to score and put up I don't want to say false, but it's a lot more easier to put up offensive numbers, because the thing that happened is, well, since the game has become more perimeter orientated, the big man has been phased out. So it's a lot easier to score and put up numbers. And a guy like LeBron James, who I will concede could theoretically go into any period in history and still put up good numbers. That's probably not the case for Steph Curry. That's probably not the case for Klay Thompson. That's probably not the case for some of these guys he's mentioning, because the game was so different. They wouldn't have had the same looks. They wouldn't have had the same approach to the game. Their roles would have been different. Michael Jordan was an outlier. And you could argue he is a precursor to what we see today, but nobody today still does it better than what he did. And I would argue he did it in a tougher, more competitive era. Yes, there weren't other Michael Jordans running around, but overall, the teams he went up against were superior. Because this is another thing that LeBron fans tend to do, right? And that is LeBron lost so many times in the finals that LeBron fans have to talk more about how great those teams he played against are, rather than talk about how great the teams are that he played on, that he ran to and tried to deck stack. That's the way of getting around all those finals losses. Because the way he's talking, you would think that LeBron was just going up against Dolo against those teams. And that's what he always do. You don't talk about the fact that LeBron James was playing with, you know what I'm saying, a Dwayne Wade. He was playing with a Chris Bosh. He was playing with a Ray Allen. He was playing with a Kevin Love. He was playing with a Kyrie Irving. He was playing with a J.R. Smith. He was playing with an Iman Shumpert. He's played with an Anthony Davis, a Dwight Howard, a Rajon Rondo. He's played with a Carmelo Anthony. He's played with a Russell Westbrook. He's playing with a DeAndre Ayton right now. He's playing with Luka Doncic. This is what they always omit. Michael Jordan never had these types of teammates. He's never had this level of help on his teams. He's never had these types of talent, regardless of perimeter orientated or whatever. He's never had a Dwight Howard as a big man playing with him. He's never had a Dwayne Wade. He's never had a Rondo. He's never had any guys like this on his team. But I will talk about some of the players he did go up that he played with, because he makes it like Michael Jordan didn't have any peers. During his career, he played against guards like Sidney Moncrief. He played against Mitch Richmond. He played against Reggie Miller, Clyde Drexler, Joe Dumars, Byron Scott, Dennis Johnson, Michael Cooper, Ron Harper, Jeff Hornacek, Alvin Robertson, Reggie Theus, Andrew Toney, Darrell Griffin, Dan Marley, Vince Carter. In the latter part of his career, Kobe Bryant and Tracy McGrady. He played against Jimmy Jackson. He played against Latrell Sprewell and Steve Smith. He played against Eddie Jones and Allen Houston and Drazen Petrovic. He played against, a guy like, who am I forgetting? He played against Reggie Lewis. He played against a lot of players. But at the end of the day, if we're talking about somebody that was athletic as him or could score, there was a Clyde Drexler's, okay? But in those times, guards oftentimes had a different role because the offense still ran through centers and big men. So the guards may have been averaging 18 to 20 points rather than 25, 26 points per game. Do we really think that Trae Young would have been averaging 25 points a game back in the 90s? No. And if you notice, the less shots Trae Young has taken over the last several years, he's become more effective, because that's probably how he would have played in the 90s. He would have been a pass-first point guard who would have taken the shot, when need be in the fourth quarter. He'd have been like a guy probably averaging 15 points. Trae Young probably been a guy averaging 16 points and 10 assists in the 90s. By the way, let's talk about some of these great big men that aren't in the league right now of any depth or caliber, not to this degree. When Michael Jordan was playing, he played against big men like Patrick Ewing, Shaquille O'Neal, the Admiral David Robertson, Moses Malone, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Robert Parrish, Alonzo Mourning, Dikembe Mutombo, Vlade Divac, Akeem Olajuwon, of course, Arvydas Sabonis, Rick Smits, Mark Eaton, Jack Stickma, Bill Laimbeer, Artis Gilmore, and Brad Daugherty. And I'm obviously missing some big men that aren't coming to mind. So when it comes to teams, Jordan did play against superior competition. He played against more Hall of Famers, far more Hall of Famers than LeBron James. So he's trying to make it sound like, oh, it's just, well, what about guards? And by the way, even with that, LeBron James often doesn't even guard the other team's best players. Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant did. So even what you naming these guys, it's not like LeBron was guarding these dudes. He wasn't. Oftentimes he was guarding the other team's weakest fucking player. So that's all I got to say about it. Tell me what you guys think.